När det skymmer ute, då parkerar svenska polisen sina helikoptrar för natten. I USA är det tvärtom. Där lyfter polisen när mörkret faller. För det är i skydd av natten de flesta brott begås. Och från luften undgår ingen en tränad helikopterpilots ögon. Mörkerflygning med helikopter och videokamera har också skapat en helt ny yrkesgrupp i USA. De flygande reportrarna som rapporterar live i lokala tv-kanaler från katastrofer medan de som bäst pågår.
In California, everything seems bigger, richer, and larger than life. And LA News is no exception. Reporters here have bigger floods, bigger fires, more murders, more plane crashes, more earthquakes, and more dramatic rescues to report on than anywhere else.
Reportern Bob Turs sätt att rapportera från helikopter har ändrat mycket i den amerikanska televisionen. Direktsända nyheter är nu ett viktigt inslag i tv-programmen i Los Angeles. Såpor, golftävlingar, alla slags program avbryts vid nyhetshändelser. Och de mest uppmärksammade handlar alltid om olyckor eller bränder.
This is real bad accident, break into programming. Hover. I can't control the camera. Okay. Okay.
We're 30 seconds away from a live report from Bob Tur into his news bulletin above the scene of an absolutely ghastly road accident. But as you can see, we're not alone.
Förutom de helikoptrar som polis och brandkår har i luften över Los Angeles så kan en nyhetshändelse dra till sig 10 tv-helikoptrar. Alla tävlar om samma utrymme, om samma bilder. Men som vanligt är Bob först på plan och dominerar luftrummet.
Looks like a boxcar type truck pinning an automobile, or at least two of them in between. Several people trapped at this point. Firefighters using the jaws of life to literally disassemble this vehicle. We think one of the trucks is a milk truck, not a flammable liquid involved. One person still trapped. Two people have already been transported. Look at your center of your picture. This man is literally crushed between several tons of steel and aluminum. And the big problem is paramedics don't like to push narcotics for pain relief with people with internal injuries because of the possible loss in blood pressure, because there's always the internal bleeding problems. And at this point, he is pinned between the two vehicles, and there's the possibility of massive fractures, internal bleeding, and with those type of problems, as soon as they're able to free him, this guy's blood pressure could possibly drop right down to the ground, and he can bleed out. There's the fire department helicopter from the LA County Fire Department. They're going to be lifting off in a minute. A victim was just wheeled into that helicopter.
Vid alla olyckor krävs att räddningspersonalen snabbt är på plats. Och i ett sånt här fall kan det betyda skillnaden mellan liv och död.
We always hear about that golden hour, that we want to get victims of trauma to a trauma center within that hour. That helicopter will make a 6-7 minute trip to County USC, which would normally take 45 minutes to an hour. And that makes the prospect of survival for these victims much better. These guys were very good, the firefighters, the paramedics. They treated the victim and they airlifted him within that golden hour to a trauma center, saving his life.
Bob, how do your attitudes, your emotions differ between what I just heard you saying about that poor guy trapped in the vehicle with some of the people that you film who are involved in pursuits?
Well, people involved in pursuits bring it upon themselves, and they can end the pursuit at any time. So you really don't have a lot of sympathy for them. In fact, I mean, they're criminals and they're doing something that's very dangerous that could hurt people. Someone like this in this car accident is some poor soul, through no fault of his own, happenstance, winds up trapped and injured, and this will affect the rest of his life and perhaps the lives of his family. any better, Howard?
Nobody in England would believe that this could be California.
Well, I don't think the rain's real serious right now. We've had much worse rain. But the problem is in Southern California, you see so little of it. It's a major traffic problem. People get killed left and right. So we do have a problem with maybe as little as half an inch of rain. Marika, give me the map grid one more time.
So once again, the helicopter is now en route. Bob's being briefed as we go along, getting ready to do a live report, and they'll be breaking into TV programs. This is happening as we speak.
Bob Tur joins us live with this breaking story. Bob?
The LA River is starting to flow quite heavily right now. It's not as high as we've seen in past rainstorms, but it is still very treacherous. There have been numerous reports of possible river rescues underway, and in every case, they have not been, no one has been found flowing down the river in Los Angeles because of the water runoff. We have these river rescues where people, every year, people venture into these deadly waters and get swept to their deaths.
The teenager is still being swept down the river. He's 15 feet, 10 feet from the helicopter. A paramedic hanging on the end of the rescue line. He's moving closer. 10 feet, 5 feet. Okay, the paramedic has his hand outstretched. He's grabbed him. He's got him. He's let go. The paramedic has let go. The kid is now being washed down the river. He's being washed down the river. The paramedic was unable to rescue the boy. And now the kid is about 10 feet or so from the bank. He's moving very slowly. He's close to the bank of this river. Paramedics, firefighters working. They have an outstretched line. Moving very slowly. The water is cold. It's not too deep. Okay, we have some people in the water. Some rescuers now in the water. The kid has now grabbed the rescue line. They're reaching out. He's reached out. He's been grabbed. He's now in the process of being pulled to safety. The firefighters, paramedics, and police officers have rescued this young man from certain death.
We're still over the scene. The Bell 412 helicopter operated by the county fire department has lowered the first rescue line.
Invånarna i soliga Kalifornien är inte så vana vid häftiga regnväder. Det innebär att människor ofta hamnar i livsfarliga situationer.
They were up four-wheeling in a van that wasn't made for it when they went through what they thought was a dry riverbed, but unfortunately, quickly, a wall of water moved through. Now you can see the man, one of the young men, now being lifted up on a rescue ring by the county fire department helicopter. The rotor downwash is significant, tremendous even. He's being lifted off and he's going to be moved over to the sandbar to safety. This is a very dangerous situation. Should he slip out of that rescue ring? Well, I don't even want to think about it. He's now being moved gingerly over that 15 or so feet over to safety in just a matter of seconds. Okay, it appears as though he's doing well. He's hanging onto that rescue ring. This is very dangerous. It's continuing to rain out here. The rain is moving in and out. Also, it is very foggy. He's down. He's safe. He's now being approached by others. Once again, another safe rescue by the county fire department as they go back for the other stranded people in that vehicle.
Storm track moves to the sky now for a bird's eye view of what's happening out there. Bob Tur joins us live from Chopper 2.
Yes, now what we've had is storm drains that are not working, and it's just causing just a river of water out here. And there, look at this woman out here with her umbrella taking a look at her front lawn, which has actually become nothing more than a lake. And this is going to be the first of the official vehicles. Long Beach Fire is very experienced, very well trained, and they should be able to help these people shortly. There you can see one of a Channel 2 viewers, I guess a TV set went out. And there we see our other Channel 2 viewers down here taking matters in their own hands, and what they're doing is they're trying to free up that area. They seem to be digging at something right here, and there's a problem. There you can see there's mud down there. There you can see the sheen on that water, which means oil and other pollutants. And then remember, all this is going to flow into the Long Beach Channel, which is a big problem for marine life as well. You're talking about toxic chemicals that have washed downrange, also oil, motor oil, fuel, and bacteria. You don't want to be in this. Reporting live, Bob Tur, next Chopper 1070. Where's our competition? There's 10 other helicopters in this city.
Reporters, of course, are supposed to cover stories, not get involved in them. But occasionally, Bob Tur and the team face a dilemma. Do they shoot some potentially award-winning footage, or do they rescue a life? Well, for Bob and the team, there's no choice.
We were over the Sepulveda flood control basin, and over 50 people were stranded out in this dam. Now, because it rains so infrequently in LA, we have this big dam that's doing nothing. Let's put a road through it. So they had people driving down this road for years and years, and because of heavy rain one year, this flood control basin filled with about 30 feet of water, 30 feet deep. And the people that were driving through the LA flood control basin were literally trapped out there and had to be rescued by the LA City Fire Department. So they went out with their helicopters, and of course they rescued everybody, and they were very heroic, and they did just a marvelous job. After the fire department departed, they held a press conference saying, we were very, very much heroes. We did a wonderful job. You should be quite proud of us, and we've rescued everybody. And while they were giving the press conference, we were hovering over a guy going down the spillway that they forgot to rescue. So while I hovered the helicopter, Larry jumped out of the copter and rescued the guy who was underwater at this point. And Larry got all kinds of, he was very heroic.
Larry, Bobs andre pilot, satte på sig flytväst och hoppade ner i vattnet. Han lyckades hålla den utmattade mannen flytande tills hjälp anlände. Under det här århundradet har Kalifornien drabbats av många jordskalv som uppmätts till mer än 6 på Richterskalan. 1906 förstördes delar av San Francisco av en kraftig jordbävning som uppmättes till 8. Det här jordskalvet som inträffade i januari 1994 gick upp till 6,5. Men ändå orsakade det skador för 15 miljarder dollar. På många ställen var förstörelsen enorm.
Another collapsed section of freeway, this time the 14 freeway transition to the Golden State Freeway. We understand now, we're getting word that a Los Angeles police officer en route to the city died here on a motorcycle. County Fire Department helicopter has just landed on the Golden State Freeway section and is now lifting off, medevacing an injured patient to a local trauma center.
Räddningstjänsten hade naturligtvis svårt att hjälpa alla nödställda direkt och många fick vänta. Men Bob kunde underrätta myndigheterna om ställen där det kunde finnas överlevande.
We're now positioned over the Encino area. Another section of homes collapsed here on a ridge. We're finding these things just hours after the earthquake. Still no law enforcement or fire department officials here at the scene. We're going to report this to the officials, give them word as to the location and the possibility of someone still being trapped under all that rubble. Helicopter journalism is important because of the work that we really pioneered. You know, it's exciting. We've had news stories as they actually happen. I mean, no longer were you sticking a microphone in a public representative, an official that said, oh, there was a fire here 3 hours ago and it was quite large, it was terrible. And right now we get to see it as it happens in real time. And we see the heroic work of our firefighters, of our police officers. You see it as it happens.
A gas main has collapsed here in the Northridge area. Another example of the earthquake's strength. Right now, flames leaping up over 150 feet. This mobile home park literally exploded in flames just after the earthquake. We believe that there were several propane fires. County Fire Department has been trying to move into the area with the assistance of the City Fire Department.
Experterna är övertygade om att Kalifornien snart kommer att drabbas av en ännu större jordbävning, möjligen före sekelskiftet. Några av nyheterna som Bob har bevakat har inslag av bizarr humor. Till exempel polisen som skulle rädda en kärlekskrank seglare.
We race out there, there's a boat on fire, a boat explosion. We're the first on the scene, and we see this boat fully engulfed in flames. And then we hear that there may have been somebody aboard the boat. So we start searching the water, and we find this guy dog paddling about 100 yards from the boat. So the sheriff goes out there, and they try to pull the guy out of the water. But he won't have anything of it. He starts fighting with the sheriff's deputies. And it turns out this guy had a huge fight with his wife, set her on the dock, gave her baggage, went out in the boat, and took a flare gun and put it against his head. The flare gun, you know, the round from the flare gun ricocheted off his head, hit the engine compartment and blew the boat up, blew him in the water and singed him. Well, the boat was a total loss. It wasn't insured. It turns out he was from Germany. He just got married, and he went on a 2-week cruise with his wife. Moral of the story, I guess don't cruise with your wife for 2 weeks on a boat with no one else to talk to.
Polisen fångade till sist sin man och kunde plåstra om den drabbade brudgummen. Fast de var tvungna att binda fast honom eftersom han hela tiden hotade med att hoppa tillbaka i vattnet. Snart får vi se hur grodmän från kustbevakningen letar efter överlevande från en flygplansolycka. Och hur en skadad man räddas från en hög mast. Och så lite av pompan och ståten vid Madonnas bröllop.
Det öppnades en helt ny värld när den första videokameran kunde monteras i en helikopter. Och som vi såg så är det en miljardindustri där flygande reportrar tjänar pengar på katastrofer. Ja, den typen av verksamhet har vi väl inte här i Sverige, i varje fall inte med helikoptrar. Men vi har polishelikoptrar, Ruben Börjesson, Nyköpingspolisen. Välkommen ska jag säga till dig.
Tackar.
Hur använder ni dem?
De används vid eskorttjänst och spaningstjänst och även lite grann vid trafikövervakning.
Men med en stor begränsning.
Ja just det, vi kan inte använda dem när det är mörkt.
Varför kan ni inte flyga när det är mörkt?
Ja, det här är gamla helikoptrar och de regler som vi har nu tillåter inte den här typen av helikoptrar att flyga i mörker.
Är inte det en stor brist?
Och det är en brist för oss. Framförallt då spaningsjobb. Det upptäcker man väldigt ofta i skymningen att någon är borta och sen kan vi inte använda helikoptrarna.
Är det inte också så att ni ofta använder helikoptrarna till hastighetsövervakning?
Jo, det gör vi. Vi använder dem till hastighetsövervakning.
Då tycker säkert några, vore inte vettigare att använda dem för att övervaka den grova brottsligheten?
Vi använder dem till det också. Till exempel det vi kallar rånfrekvent tid. När vi tror att ett rån är på gång någonstans, då kan vi ha en helikopter hänga i luften och kunna sättas in omedelbart om det sker.
Tack säger jag till Ruben Börjesson. Ruben är tillbaka hos oss igen i nästa program. Nu ska vi tillbaka till verkligheten i Los Angeles.
Även vana yrkesmän som den här mannen i orange overall kan hamna i svårigheter och behöva hjälp av andra experter, räddningstjänsten. Den här mannen fastnade och bröt lårbenet. Räddningsarbetet blev mycket svårt eftersom det inte fanns manöverutrymme och eftersom den skadade mannen hade mycket svåra smärtor när räddningspersonalen försökte få loss hans ben.
He has an injury. He cannot get down from this without assistance from the fire department. This is a Caltrans freeway worker's yard, and he was working on an antenna system up several hundred feet above the ground when he broke his leg, and now firefighters are working to rescue this man. A very technically difficult rescue. Folks, this is one of the worst types of rescues. It's one of those situations where you figure out, can I get there from here? And right now, it doesn't get any worse.
Räddningspersonalen lyckades så småningom lirka ner mannen, men varje rörelse gjorde mycket ont för honom.
Still hovering over Orange County, the horse remains in this crevice.
Den här hästen hade fallit ner i en ravin och räddningstjänsten arbetade hela dagen med att rädda det utmattade djuret.
They now have it up on a tarp. They're now pulling it out of the canyon. Very, very scary right now. We don't know if the horse has suffered a broken leg. If the horse has suffered a broken leg, the vets will have to put the horse down. And what that means, they'll have to shoot it. The horse is just about ready to stand, and our fingers are crossed. Will the horse survive? Still some trouble. The horse, okay, is trying to stand right now. Okay, is the horse okay? Any broken bones? We don't know. We don't know. Still kind of wobbly. That's understandable. The horse is okay.
Det finns fler privatflygplan i Kalifornien än någon annanstans i världen. Räddningstjänsten följer ett bestämt schema när de räddar överlevande från plan som störtat i havet.
The victim will be transported, placed into the helicopter. He'll be monitored by the paramedics for a short ride to the trauma center where doctors will evaluate his condition. The Coast Guard helicopter is now hovering. A rescue swimmer is in the door. Now in the water, taking a look at the wreckage, we understand that they believe that there are no additional victims. The rescue divers are now taking bags below the surface and attaching those bags to the airplane and also inside the airplane. They'll be filling those bags with air. That will cause the plane to surface. And once it surfaces, the lifeguards will be able to tow that plane back to the beach. And the Federal Aviation Administration can determine exactly what caused this plane to lose its engine.
Bob,
Vad tycker då Bob Tör en bra nyhet?
I think that if the story is exciting, you need to convey that excitement. If the story is tragic, you need to let the person know. You need to be a human. You need to have human reactions. To sit there and be over a riot and say, well, it looks like a riot and there's some bad things going on. You don't want to be like that. You want to tell people what's happening. You want to convey the excitement, the danger, and you want to do it in a way that is dramatic and tells a story. I mean, that's all we do, really, is we're telling stories in an accurate way.
Some of Bob's most famous and disturbing news footage was shot here during the 1992 Los Angeles riots. We're all used to news stories showing distressing scenes of violence and brutality in places like Bosnia and Rwanda. But when the raw violence was unfolding on the streets of one of the world's most affluent and advanced cities, people were stunned.
Now they're pulling the driver out. They're pulling the driver out of the van and they're kicking the driver and beating the driver. Okay, this is it. Terrible, terrible pictures.
We had the verdicts in the Rodney King beating, and the 4 officers were acquitted. They were tried by a jury of really their peers in Simi Valley, because Simi Valley is made up of retired police officers. And when they were acquitted, we went airborne.
This is attempted murder.
And then with a short span of a few minutes, we saw people being dragged out of their automobiles and beaten nearly to death. And in fact, there were a number of people killed in the LA riot. So our coverage, I think, saved lives and also warned the city about this, tidal wave of violence.
Tell LAPD to shut Florence Boulevard down and Normandy because people are still driving through here.
The work that we did aboard our helicopter in bringing viewers information on Florence and Normandy saved lives. It was our work that saved lives, saved Reginald Denny, and countless people have told me that they watch these live broadcasts and it kept them out of harm's way. And I'm very proud of that.
Not all of Bob's stories involve human tragedy. News editors all over the world are always very keen to have stories about the rich and the famous. Well, here in Hollywood, the entertainment capital of the world, there are literally thousands of movie stars and pop stars courting the media's attention. And some are more desperate for publicity than others.
We've covered a lot of stories about Michael Jackson, but we've tried to be very accurate. There was one case, one story where he set his hair on fire, or his hair was set on fire, and we got him coming out of an ambulance, and that went worldwide. Then we covered the case where the district attorney's office was thinking of charging him with molesting a young boy. It seems kind of ridiculous that we wasted so much attention on Michael Jackson when there's some real pressing news stories to be covered.
You got some very famous pictures of rock cuts.
My brother-in-law worked for us, and he refused to cover the story. And I thought about what he had to say, and I said, look, I agree with you. It is very intrusive, and he should have privacy. But if people see this stricken actor dying of AIDS, maybe our country will devote some money in the fight against AIDS. So we covered the story, and just a short time thereafter, just literally days, U.S. Congress voted to spend $25–30 million more on AIDS research. So it does good.
Do you think celebrities are fair game for the news media?
I think once you become a celebrity, you've given up a bit of your, your privacy. It's an exchange. You get the money, you get the fame, and then you get the news media. And it's a package deal. You don't get one or the other. Hey, wait a minute. I want the money, I want the fame, but no, I don't want the news media. Wait, it doesn't work that way. The struggling actors working and trying to become famous need the media, and they want the media, but when they get become big shots, oh, wait, hey, don't take these pictures. It's ridiculous. It's a package deal. It's like making a pact with the devil.
covered the Madonna wedding. Sean Penn was there as well.
Briefly.
Yes, in a blink of an eye. Now, you got to understand something. There was a secret location where she was getting married. The press was not supposed to know about it. So shortly before the wedding, Madonna notified the media. And ever since then, all marriages, celebrity marriages, are based now on the number of news helicopters that arrived at the scene. Now, she had the most number of news helicopters, so I think she's still the queen of the media. But we covered the story, and it went worldwide. And this company made a fortune in an hour. It was unbelievable. And we, you know, I joke about this, but it really isn't so much a joke. If the president's aircraft were making an emergency landing in the water, and Madonna were getting married again, I mean, the choice is clear to us, the Madonna wedding. But we went out there, we covered the story, and at one point, Madonna even gave us a signal showing that we were #1. So we were, we were quite impressed.
Whereas if it had been in London, it might have been the signal that you were #2, I guess.
Yes, maybe so.